Good morning, everybody. This is Lainey from Camp Joy Farms. I just wanted to come to you this morning to just talk a little bit about the announcement by the Supreme Court yesterday that they're going to require all medical workers who work in any type of medical facility that accepts Medicare or Medicaid to now be vaccinated to keep their jobs. This has really disturbed me. It has really been on my mind all night long. I woke up this morning thinking about it because this affects people in my family, and it really breaks my heart that our country has come to this. This channel, in all honesty, I was never really going to talk much about politics on it unless it's just had to do with agriculture or different things like that. I really just created this channel to talk about gardening and kind of as therapy for me because of the stresses that I have in my life with having to take care of my husband, who is a stroke patient. And I can't tell you what joy it's given me to just this brief time that I've had my channel to do it, to film things, to just get out in the yard and accomplish things even in my house and everything. I've enjoyed it, and I've had a wonderful time. And I know that I run the risk, if I even dare bring any type of political things into my channel, that, it could get canceled or censored or strikes or whatever else punishments, are used to punish adult people who are thinking for themselves and dare to speak out about it. But I'm also here today to say I really don't care about all that. I have a small channel. I'm not indebted to anything because of money I make off of YouTube. I've made zero off of YouTube. You don't make anything off of YouTube until your account grows, until you have a lot of followers. They say about 1,000, but I think if you really show some momentum, some people get monetized before that. But, their rules are to have about 1,000 followers or to have about 4,000 viewing hours before they will allow you to make money off your account. So I'm not making anything right now. As of this moment, I have about 37 followers. I have 594 people that have graciously clicked on my videos to watch at different points in time, and I'm so thankful for that. And I don't know how many viewing hours I have right now because, to be honest with you, my internet's out and I can't get on my laptop to check a lot of my analytics. I think I have over like 60 viewing hours. So I've got a long way to go. And I'm a small account in a big pond, and I'm just not worried about getting canceled. If I get canceled, guess what? I go on with my life. But I'm going to speak. I'm not scared of YouTube. I'm not scared of their algorithms. I'm just not going to live my life at this point in my life scared to speak in the United States of America. I am going to speak up because the ruling yesterday affects my family. It affects direct members of my family who are now worrying about their jobs. And it's so silly. I am not young. I was born in the last century, in the 60s. And my coming of age years, the years people might refer to as your age of reason or whatever, 8 to 12 years old, when you really start, understanding things. As I was coming into my age of reason, there was something that passed in the Supreme Court called Roe v. Wade, where they allowed now the legalized killing of millions of children in America since then. It's a horrendous amount of children who have died from abortion. But they allowed that on the premise that a woman has a right to privacy to her body and that she has total autonomy of her body. Okay, it still stands. There's nothing people have been able to do about it to make that law go away. I'm going to put aside right now, even though it just breaks my heart, but I'm going to put aside all the arguments for that right now. The law was based on the premise of a woman's right to privacy to her body. Now, yesterday, our Supreme Court says, if you're a healthcare worker in America and your company bills even one patient for Medicare or Medicaid and is set up to get reimbursed through Medicare or Medicaid, you have to get a vaccine, a mandatory vaccine, an emergency vaccine that is not had full FDA approval yet. You have to get it. You have no right to privacy. So at my age, I'm confused. I'm confused as to what happened to that right to privacy that has just ruled our whole lives since I've been young, since I've been a child. What happened to that right to privacy? The two people in my life that are directly affected by this are both females. They now have the threat to not have a job if they don't let someone come at them with a needle. It is insane. And I hope both of them walk away. I really do. But you know what? I realized last night I can't sit there and tell them, or I'm not telling them what to do, but pray for them. And I can't pray that they have the courage to walk away when I click on here in the hopes that one day my channel can grow, my little gardening business can grow, and that YouTube income, if I ever get any from it, will be a part of my business plan to help me succeed so that my husband and I will have extra money now that we're living on Social Security and disability since his stroke earlier this year. So we're living on half of what he used to make, which we're doing fine. I'm not complaining. But the YouTube was an aspect of my plans to hopefully, within a year or two, hopefully gain a little bit of access to the ad revenue money and all to just supplement what we make and everything. So I was really and truly, putting this plan to work. I wasn't looking at this as a hobby. I wasn't looking at this as just something I was going to do every now and then if I thought something was interesting. No, I've been busy coming up with content, stopping what I'm doing during the day to film content. It doesn't film itself, and even though I'm no big, great expert, it's not Gone with the Wind or anything. It takes a while sometimes to get your camera set up and do things, and I don't have a lot of spare time, so it's been a little bit of a sacrifice, this learning curve of YouTube. But I'm doing it, and I enjoy it, and I want to continue to do it. However, I can't ask my family members to stand up to the government, stand up to these mandates and all, when I'm sitting here on a platform that censors everyone who wants to speak about it, who censors everyone who wants to give valid information about it, who censors everyone who says, hey, there's alternatives to this vaccine. And they mention the different prescription drugs or whatever that could help, and they're taken off the channel. So this platform is, to me, complicit with a lot of the things that go on in this country that is causing us to be in a situation where young women and men, but young women can now be told, you have the right to an abortion, but you do not have a right to walk away from someone coming at you with a shot if you want to keep your job. And I'm not going to stay silent about that. And I will be angry about that because I love them. And because I'm old enough to where if I have to take the bullet and take the fall and lose my channel, I'll do that. But I want these young girls to stay strong. And I want our country to come back and be what it's supposed to be. So YouTube can take my channel, they can remove it, they can censor me, they can put 1, 2, 3 strikes against me, whatever they have to do. I will not comply. Let that fall into your algorithm wherever it has to fall into. I will not comply to your algorithms that tell me I have to be silent. I always think of movies and things when in my life. I just kind of remember movies or different things that remind me of things. And I remember on, wasn't a movie, but a TV show, Designing Women. I love that show. And I used to watch it when my kids were younger. And I remember Suzanne Sugarbaker tried to join a country club that she really wanted to be into. And they wouldn't let her in because they didn't really like her. So Julia Sugarbaker, they told her, she didn't even want to be in it, but they told her, oh, you can join it because you're a little bit more refined. You're a little bit more, the type of person we would let in our country club. So they kicked Suzanne out and they let Julia in. And Julia told them, she said, y'all messed up. She said, if you thought you were letting someone in that was just going to go along with the good old boy system and comply, you were wrong. She said, you messed up. And that's the way I feel. YouTube, if you thought that I was just joining this channel to be a good little girl and be silent about everything and only talk about my bush beans and my corn, you were wrong. I will speak up. This is the platform I have at this moment. If it goes away, it goes away, and that's okay. And actually, to be on this platform, you agree to that. YouTube tells you when you start clicking into all the things you need to click on to find out how to be monetized, it tells you in there that you'll go through a review process to see if they'll allow you to be monetized. And if they allow you to be monetized, don't you think they're only going to look at 1 or 2 videos? They have a right to look at all of your videos. And don't you think that they're not going to come back later and relook at videos? Just because you get monetized doesn't mean you're going to stay monetized. They have the right, they say, to come back and look at every video you've ever done. And at any point in time, even if it's 10 years after you made that video, they have the right to come back and take you off. So this might be the video that gets me taken off 5 years from now when everyone's forgot I even made it. But I don't care. If I get taken off and I'm gone one day, just remember it's for this video. But I'm doing it for a reason. I'm doing it for my girls. I'm doing it for all the people that are sitting there last night at the kitchen table with a notepad sketching out their bills to see if they can make it without working, to see if they can make it if they stay at home from now on and cut their daycare bill and don't go anywhere and maybe sell the car, to see if they can make it because of the decision that our Supreme Court made yesterday that was stupid. And let me tell you this, I'm Catholic. And I like to visit a little country church. And they had a priest who was older, and he was a former Marine, and he was about to retire from being a priest, and he just didn't care anymore. So he would tell it like it was, and I loved listening to him. And we were there one Sunday, and the Supreme Court had ruled on something. I really cannot remember exactly what it was, but everybody was kind of in shock about the ruling that week. And he talked about it. He addressed it. He never ran from anything when he was in the pulpit. He talked about it. If it affected the flock, it affected him, and he talked about it. And I remember him saying, just don't worry. These people are not the end all, do all. What they do is not even infallible, so don't worry about it. And I thought, well, golly, they're the Supreme Court. They just ruled on it. What does he mean? And he said, and he was right, he said, the Supreme Court in America ruled that black people in America weren't human. He said he ruled that they were 2/3 of a human, or whatever the crazy rulings were they had in those times. That came from our Supreme Court. And he said, and those rulings were overturned. He said, even the Supreme Court gets overturned. When the will of the people says no, even our Supreme Court can't stand against it. And I was thinking about what he said this morning when I was getting ready, about how our own Supreme Court had ruled that human beings that lived in America didn't have the right standing and rights as other people. They ruled that. It was crazy. But it also brought to my mind another thing that happened earlier this year when my husband was in the rehab hospital. I'd be sitting in the waiting room just down the hall from his rehab room where they worked him out at every day. I'd be sitting in that little waiting room by myself. And a lot of times, some of the workers would just come in and chit chat with me. We got to know each other. And one lady that would come in a lot was a black woman that worked there. I don't even know her position. She would just come in and say, hey, how you doing? And we would talk and everything. Well, she asked me one day about the vaccine, and I told her, we weren't or whatever. And her answer broke my heart. She said, well, I got it, but I didn't want it. And she said her daughter had been doing all kind of research, and her daughter had come to her and said, Mom, don't get it. I've been doing a lot of research and it's not safe, and don't get it. And her mom was not going to get it. But then the rehab hospital where she worked and where my husband was at, they didn't mandate it. They asked them to get it. They didn't mandate it. But they instituted a policy where what they did was, if you got it, on your tags that you wore on the front of your scrubs, they put a big red heart that everybody could see when you were coming down the hall. If you didn't get it, you didn't have a heart. So it was almost kind of, to me, like they put a scarlet letter on these people, except in reverse. Instead of it condemning them, it was supposed to show that you got the vax because you care about your patients. And if that person doesn't have a heart, well, they don't care. They kind of branded these employees. They kind of put them in a position of being able to look at each other to see who had the brand and who didn't have the brand. And I thought that was sad, because this woman, this beautiful woman, did not want it. She didn't want it. And her kids were asking her not to get it. But she got it because they coerced them by this branding system that they had instituted. I just want to say that this channel has meant a lot to me. It has given me an outlet for my creativity, for my energy that I have had since we've been staying home a lot. If it's gone, it's gone. I'm okay with that. But please support and stand up and stand with our healthcare workers. They need us, they deserve us, and we have to stand with them. This is Lainey from Camp Joy Farms. Hashtag support our healthcare workers. And hashtag the Supreme Court doesn't know everything. Hashtag I love you. Goodbye.